Merchants Bank. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper.
Put it in the upper right-hand corner just like a postage stamp. That's a good bingo.
Get ready to learn more about the Columbus Blue Jackets players and coaches, as well as find out what's going on this week in the NHL. Now let's join Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley for the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank.
Well, here we are. It is finally opening week. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night, the Blue Jackets will open their season here in Minnesota when they take on the Wild. Welcome to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley with you. And Jody, this week, the roster gets set. Ironically, there are two guys on this roster that we didn't think last week at this time would even be a part of this team, but they are. We'll talk about all of that. But let's talk about position battles first, and who wins a spot, who doesn't win a spot. And Denton Mateychuk is the guy that was talked about all during training camp. Is he ready for the NHL? Should he go to the American Hockey League? That was the big debate. The decision was he will start in the American Hockey League. I see this as a positive for the Blue Jackets. They have 8 defensemen on their roster. Jordan Harris, David Juracek, and Jake Christensen, they all stay to join the guys that were here from last year. And Jack Johnson, of course, got added as a free agent in the summertime. But for Denton Mateychuk, he gets to go to Cleveland. He'll be a number 1 defenseman. He'll run the power play. He'll get the big minutes, and it doesn't mean that he won't play here in Columbus at some point this year.
No, I see it as the Blue Jackets has some things to sort out before they settle in, and the way Dean Evison spoke this week about Mateychuk going down and still being in the mix, it just tells you that he's not going to be there long. You know, maybe the guy needs 40 games in the American Hockey League, maybe. It's probably less. And the way he played camp, the way he finished the season last year with Cleveland in that run, it's a bright spot there and something that they see is going to be a big part of the future. So they have 8 bodies here. Who knows how it's going to shake out, but the way it's going to start, you've got some good veteran players back there. Mateychuk is a puck mover, a skater that can help you get out of your zone. Let's see how the first few games go here with the Blue Jackets. It's such a key to be able to get out of your zone cleanly, and to have an asset like that in Cleveland, I would expect maybe a trade, maybe some moves to make a spot for him. He's that good.
And when I go back to the Friday game in Pittsburgh, and I know it wasn't a real NHL lineup, I understand that, but Pittsburgh had theirs in. And I thought Denton Mateychuk, he scrambled, maybe not as much as everybody else, but you know what? He did battle a little bit more in that game, I felt, than he did in some other games, and rightfully so. You've got Malkin and Crosby and Letang and all those guys are playing against you. So when the decision was made, I just looked at that last game and I thought exactly what you're saying. Yeah, just go get a little bit of seasoning, and it probably won't take long, but it'll be good for him to get that responsibility there.
Well, yeah, and as for young players, there's 82 games, and the hardest thing to have or to find is consistency. And when I see his game, I see a simple path for consistency because he plays a quiet game back there. And I think that puts him at a huge advantage. Smooth skater, good passer, takes the first option, keeps it simple. We talked about that last week. And, you're going to have moments. There's a human element to it too, right? I mean, when you look across and you see Crosby, Malkin, and these players and Letang that are all Hall of Famers, yeah, you're going to try to do too much in some situations, but he always stays within himself, and I like the excitement around him, and I understand with this lineup now, 2 big injuries up front, 2 guys on power play units, and Boone Jenner and Dmitry Voronkov, who are now veteran guys out of the lineup. It causes for some shuffling, some additions made by Don Waddell and his staff. And it just shows you that young guys need to figure out and find their way in the American Hockey League or back in other situations. And when you're in an organization that has some depth, some veteran players, then you can make that happen. Otherwise, you're just kind of spinning your tires for the future, and that's not going to happen here.
You talk about the forwards. I think the biggest surprise is Mikhail Putia making this team. He played in 7 of the 8 preseason games. Dean Evison said in a press gathering earlier this week, the plan wasn't for him to play 7 games. He just kept on getting our attention, and we kept putting him back into games. And even after the final roster move was made, I mean, he could have been sent out by 5 o'clock on Monday, but he wasn't. It was James Malatesta that was sent out, and he is still here. And during the preseason, I go back and I think of the games that he played. Look, did he do anything that was extremely flashy? No, not really. He had a goal. That was good. But he just seemed like he was always in the right place at the right time, and that's why he's still on this squad.
Yeah, and it's amazing, right? We all look at the goal scoring, and people are paid on goal scoring or time on ice or block shots. But a coach and teammates, when you give or set a system to play and they stay within it, no matter what the situation, and they're the ones to get the stick or cause the turnover or pick the puck up on the wall or win the puck battle. Those are the things where you're like, those are the guys you want to play with. And he's on a line this week with Cole Sillinger and Kent Johnson. And for him, he's ecstatic. I mean, there's not a lot of pressure on that line, but every line has to have different elements. And when you look at Sillinger, he can play defensively. He wins the face-offs. He can be strong on pucks. We know what Kent Johnson is, but Putia is kind of like that safety blanket for Sillinger and Johnson out there. It's an interesting line, and I think that I agree with you. It's a surprise. He was under the radar last year. He got some games. He did well in Cleveland during that run, and now he comes in here, and he's a very young piece, a very raw piece, but you have to love his poise on the ice, and he can possibly slot on the power play. He's that kind of player. So when you think of some different players who are, you call them Swiss Army knives. But for the Blue Jackets now, he can be that. I think that's important to start the season.
Yeah, and I talked to him during the preseason when he was getting all these games, and I said to him at one point, it seems like you're playing every day. And he said, I'll never complain about playing games. Right? And so it works out perfectly for him. All right, let's talk about two guys that weren't on the radar when we sat down at this time last week, and now they're both on the team. And we'll start with Kevin Labanc. You talked about we're all focusing on goals. Well, he had 6 preseason goals this year, including a game with a hat trick. That was all for the New Jersey Devils. Spent 8 years in San Jose. Then he goes to New Jersey on a professional tryout and winds up signing with the Blue Jackets after getting all of those goals. And a lot of that reason is because here's a good opportunity for him to get into the top 6. And Kevin talked right after he got here, after his first practice with the Blue Jackets, about fitting in with a new group of teammates.
You just kind of get a feel for them on the ice during practice, kind of see the way they shoot the puck, see the way they skate, and kind of get a feel for the type of player they are. And I mean, they're so skilled, so you kind of, you just work off them really. And yeah, it was a lot of fun playing with them today. I'm excited for the next little bit.
Yeah, and he should be excited because guess where he's slotted in? On a second-line winger role on this team and on a top power play unit on this team. So if you happen to be wondering, well, if New Jersey made him an offer, why didn't he sign in New Jersey? Well, the New Jersey Devils are in a different place right now. His role wouldn't have been as big in New Jersey as the opportunity that he might get here with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And he had a down year last year, Jody, and a lot of people are, he also said this when he talked, a lot of people are counting him out, and he just wants to prove everybody wrong. So 8 years in San Jose. Now he's here as a Blue Jacket. They need goal scoring. This is a guy that has shown throughout his career that he can score goals.
You know what? He just had a falling out. He just lost the trust of the coach there in San Jose. I think he had an injury too, and he couldn't get in the lineup. And that was a team that was in a rebuild and really a lot of flux at the time. So he told me he was at a skills camp or a skills practice in New Jersey. He's from the New York area, and Fitzy, the GM of the Devils, saw him and signed him to a PTO. He said he had nothing. He was just sitting there, like, kind of just practicing.
That's crazy, too.
It's crazy. And you could see why they did. They brought a team to Prague. They took a chance on him. The Fitzy understands depth. They have a lot of depth, a lot of young players that they weren't certain, were they going to be next in line or would Labanc jump them? And then he gets an opportunity with Columbus. I did a game, Devils, it was Utica Comets, against the New York Rangers last Wednesday, and Labanc, I was impressed with him, because they had a young team. The Rangers had a full lineup, and this young Comets team played well, and Labanc had 2 goals. He almost had the hat trick to tie up. They lost 3-2, and I thought this guy's going to get a contract somewhere, or I hope he does. Everyone talks about his shot, but he's got a drive to his game. Like, he gets on pucks. He understands the battle away from the puck, and I think that's such an important thing. And he has experience, too. I think he knows Gambrell pretty well, too. Dylan played out there in San Jose with him. So, these two guys both on the team right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but interesting when you have veteran guys. We always talk about the young guys in this organization. We've been talking about it for a long time, and I know the fans are anxious to see some of these pieces. But your organization is in a really good spot when they understand that, a guy that's played 200 or 300 games, there's just something different there, and it takes a lot of pressure off the young guys and Dean Evanson and the way he wants to play. I think they're going to establish something first, make sure it's set, and then have the young guys come in.
And ironically, he isn't on this team if Dmitry Voronkov and Boone Jenner don't get injured.
That's right.
Last week. So it's funny how things work out sometimes. He also said that I think I was in a training camp with Sean Corrali about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In San Jose.
That's right.
So it's just funny how life works sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. And you think about this guy. I looked up his hockey DB, and he was drafted in 2010. I was with the Rangers from 2008 to 2010, and then he came in a couple years later. So a lot of our teammates crossed over, and that's just fascinating. I've been retired now for 11 years, I think, 11 years. So it's like you think it's such a long time, then you run into these guys who play with guys and it's fun to see.
The other guy that is a part of the mix here is Zach Aston Reese. He was just claimed on waivers by the Blue Jackets on Monday before the final roster had to be set. This is a guy we know because we saw him come up as a young player in the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. He kind of bounced between the American Hockey League, the National Hockey League. Then he moved on. Actually had a good season in Toronto a couple of years ago. Another guy that was in camp with the Vegas Golden Knights, they had to put him through waivers to send him to the American Hockey League. I think this is a good pickup by the Blue Jackets because you talked earlier about a Swiss Army knife. This is a guy that can do some different things. Malatesta gets sent back to Cleveland. Again, I like James Malatesta and what his potential is. I also like him going back to Cleveland right now. For what you just said, a young guy gets a chance to refine his game a little bit, and a guy that knows exactly how to play in the National Hockey League is coming in, knows he's a bottom six forward, knows what he has to do in that role, and I think he'll be valuable here.
Well, let's be honest. What are the expectations for the Columbus Blue Jackets this season? So I think for the first part of the year, I don't know if I'm repeating myself or not, but you have established players in here, appreciative of the opportunity as the veteran guys. Malatesta will go down and play a much bigger role down in Cleveland. And that's important. That team last year went on a deep run. They know their roles. They know their coach. And I think hand in hand with Chris Clark talking to Don Waddell and saying, okay, this is our plan. We're going to, hold things down up here and try to see what we can put together with some waiver wire pickups and a couple guys like Putia making the team who we think are mature enough and ready. But it's on you to get that team in Cleveland going and really make sure these guys develop. I think that's a key part to a great organization. These aren't moves for this year as far as the young guys going down. You're looking at 18 months from now, January of next year. That's when players, some of these guys that we're talking about, might be ready to take their professional step. And we're talking about 20, 21, 22-year-old kids. And, it's rare when some of these guys, it's more... You see it more now in the National Hockey League where these top-end guys come in at that age. And there will be some come in, like Sillinger and players like that. But you have to look at guys like Werenski, who are now in their 9th season in the National Hockey League. The captain's out, and he's a player that needs to take a step in the locker room and off the ice as a leader. And I think when he does that, and guys like Goodbranson now have been here for a few years and understand what it is in Columbus and what they're trying to achieve and how they're going to play. I think that's the most important ingredient to this whole thing is bring in players. Zach Aston Reese, Kevin LeBanc have a lot in common as far as how Dean Evanson wants his team to play. It's not outside skill. It's not wait for the puck to come to you. They're going to charge pucks. So these guys have quickness. They have the will to get on pucks. Establish how that's going to be in the National Hockey League with your Columbus team. Get everyone on the same page, and then you can draw guys in to be a part of that. And I think that some of these skilled players, when they're in the American Hockey League, you can get away with a little more, and you play the skilled game a little bit, and it's not as organized. But I think once they understand, all right, so Chris Clark gets him in the American Hockey League and says, all right, I know you're a power play guy, you're a goal scorer here. But if you would accept a third-line, reliable winger role, you'll have a long career in the National Hockey League. And those are the steps that needs to be taken.
All right, well, that's how we see the roster, but the guy that has to deal with this roster on an everyday basis is the head coach of the Blue Jackets. That is Dean Evison. Coming up next, he will join us. We'll talk about his team. We'll talk about his arrival in Columbus. We'll talk about him coaching his first game as a Blue Jacket in Minnesota against the Wild, the team that let him go just last year. All of that as the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank continues here on 97.1 The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorrento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two have geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
You want an easy way to feed your friends? You get a Jersey Mike's catering box. You want an exciting radio idea? You get me. Like this. There's a Jersey Mike's catering box off the coast of Corsica that needs rescuing. Me and a team of mercenaries go in, barrel rolling past the sleeping guard, and we find the catering box in a secret bunker. I say, men, let's get these 12 subs home. But they're already eating them. That's the problem with mercenaries. You can't trust them. The Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Red Financial is proud to be the official financial services partner of your Columbus Blue Jackets. They provide simple, personalized payment, lending, and savings solutions. From the Bread Cashback American Express credit card to high-yield savings and CDs to buy now, make that score now, pay later options, you'll find financial solutions for your budget and your goals, hockey or otherwise. Learn more at breadfinancial.com. And let's go Blue Jackets.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A perfect end of the day today with plenty of sunshine, light winds, and temperatures near 70 degrees. Those clear skies will allow temperatures to drop by Thursday morning down to around 40 when you wake up, but plenty of sunshine by the afternoon with highs in the upper 60s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. Check out the new Pick 6 Flex Plan, presented by Franklin University. Choose the games you want, including this season's home opener against the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, or face-offs against the Penguins, Rangers, Blackhawks, and more. Plus, purchase before October 16th and receive a bonus ticket to see the Blue Jackets take on the Buffalo Sabres on October 17th. Get yours by going to bluejackets.com/pick6. I'm Bob McElligott along with Jody Shelley, and we're joined right now by Blue Jackets head coach Dean Evison. Now that you've had a chance to, well, get to Columbus, get moved into a place, run a training camp, how's it going?
Fantastic. Love it. It's so nice to get after it again, and obviously to have training camp, and the structure of camp was fantastic. The competition was fantastic. Probably a couple too many hockey games with the 8 games, but obviously it was a good situation for us as a new coaching staff to see a lot of different players, see the depth of our organization, which was really good.
You talk about the structure of that camp, and I know I talked to you before you ran it. You know, you've run them before in Minnesota as a head coach. Was it just kind of plug and play, or did you make certain adjustments for this camp?
Yeah, certain adjustments. What I wanted to do is get in and get with our coaching staff and build our training camp, not necessarily my training camp or what we've done in the past. So we've structured it around what we wanted to do as a staff. All the coaches were extremely dialed in as far as the video sessions with our systematic stuff, and then to immediately turn it into a practice plan where we're working on stuff that the players had just viewed. So excited about how quickly the group has grasped our concept of how we want to play, and that's to be aggressive in all areas, and we did that for the most part throughout training camp and preseason.
When you talk about your group, and you just have about your assistant coaches and how it's important that you guys have your group that's together and on the same page, and then the players group, you guys are leading. They're watching your lead. You're leading by example. That team that you put together, I mean, Steve McCarthy was here before, Jared Bowl was here before, Mike Havlin you brought in from Cleveland, and then Scott Ford you bring in from Milwaukee, where you had him as a player and an assistant coach. What do you think of that group? Like, how do all of you mesh together? It seems that you're extremely happy with the guys that you have on your staff.
Yeah. And I'll add Nicky Backstrom, obviously, and then the 2 video guys in Aaron and Dan in there, too. It's important to me as a head coach to have our coaching staff be as tight-knit group and a team as we want the group in the room, the players, to be. We want to have each other's back. We want to challenge each other. We want to make each other accountable each and every night and day as we're going through our process. And our guys do that. Yeah, we have some fun. The players see us when we come in there. We're united. But we have some deep discussions, some heavy discussions in there of what we want to do and what we don't want to do. And I don't want all the coaches to be yes people. Like, I want them to challenge me, make sure that I'm doing the right things as well, I will do that to each and every one of them. So as far as being dialed in, this is the most intense, structured, good, presenting our stuff as any coaching staff I've ever had.
Dean, how important is it for you to establish the way it's going to be here to the main group? You see, okay, fans talk about Matejchuk and different players going down. You're bringing guys in on waivers. Isn't it more important to have it what you want it to be before you put these young kids in that environment?
There's no question. I think that you hear everybody talking about foundation. I think there's a solid foundation here. We're building on that. But for how we want to play the game systematically and the message that we are delivering was delivered to the entire organization. And I think it goes, I know that it goes even further than that in getting Trent and his guys down in Cleveland. They were here through training camp. They were here prior to training camp. They're going to play the exact same systems that we're playing. They're going to deliver the same messages that we are delivering here as far as how our organization, the Columbus Blue Jackets organization, wants to conduct themselves, how we want to play, how we want to act, and how we want to react to different situations. So, but there's no question that those young guys that are gone down there, they'll come back here with the same concepts that we are teaching here, the same philosophies, the same thought process. They'll be dialed in when they get here and help us win hockey games.
You played a long time in the NHL. You were part of some tight-knit groups. Do you refer to that? Do you think about that? There's nothing like being a teammate when you're a player. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like it. Do you look at these guys and wish they were doing more things, or there's more to offer them? Are you challenging them in that regard?
Well, I'll take that a step further. Yeah, we want to be like that team first mentality in the coaches room. Like you said, there's nothing like being in a locker room and being a player. There's nothing, right? But the closest thing is being in that coaches room, and we sit in there and work together, for dinners and 24 hours basically. We get the heck away from each other every now and then, but we go golfing, we go for dinners and lunches, and we have that same rapport, that same chirping back and forth. It's part of it, right? And you try to create that family, that close-knit group that's going to go out and compete every night. And that's what we're doing as coaches, too. We're competing to try to get our group in the best position, our players in the best position to go out, because ultimately they're in the arena, in that battle. So we're trying to prepare them to do that. But the feeling in the room is good. Really good. And like I said earlier, the foundation is set here. Like when I first got here, before I got here, everybody saying, you got to change the culture in Columbus. You've got to change this and that. We don't. We didn't. What we did is enhance that. This is a close-knit group. Obviously, Boone Jenner is one of the most incredible leaders that I've ever been around. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with us for a little bit here, but we have so many people in there that are leaders. It's a close-knit group. We're just enhancing that level of closeness.
Who has been a former teammate that you think, looking back, that has had the biggest impact on you?
Gosh, you know what? Honestly, I've played on so many teams. As you know, you walk into that locker room, you can almost go, well, this was the same as this guy. Like played for the Hartford Whalers. Ronnie Francis was our captain. There, you can see that guy. So I go to San Jose, and Doug Wilson's our captain. There's that guy. And then you can go down the line from there. There's so many great teammates that I had, and as you know, Jody, there's not a lot of bad people in this game, right? No. There's a lot of good people, good human beings, and I've taken a lot from a lot of different coaches, certainly that I've played for, but there's a lot of teaching that I learned throughout my career as well as being a player from other players.
At some of the greatest times were, Bob, but we used to have roommates on the road. They don't do that anymore. That's where the real stories came.
Yeah. Well, there's some that we can't talk about here, but maybe off air we'll get into that.
Podcast anything goes. Do that someday.
Almost anything.
Yeah. Talk with Dean Evison, the head coach of the Blue Jackets. What do you think about the group that you break camp with? You mentioned Boone is out, and that's terrible. Dmitry Voronkov is going to be out for a bit. That's not good either. But Don Waddell went out, and he quickly shored up a couple of spots with Kevin LeBanc, and then getting Zach Aston Reese on the last day that the roster had to be set. How valuable is it to you to get players like that are guys that have played in the National Hockey League, they've had success in the National Hockey League, guys that are going to know what their role is in the National Hockey League, and even though you don't have guys that you would really like to have, you're able to fill those spots with these types of players?
Well, I think it's a good point. They're pros, right? They've played in the National Hockey League. Are we happy with the depth? Would we have been happy with a couple of guys that we've sent down that are really close to playing? Yes. And I mentioned the depth before. We're very pleased with the depth and call up people down there, and there's several of them. But to have people come into the organization that have played in the National Hockey League, they get it. They've been around. They can step in. Obviously, they might take a little bit of time to get up to speed with the systems and what have you, but we're going to have both are going to have 2-3 practices anyway, and we've got lots of teaching with the video. So yeah, to have those people come in and help us move forward here and enhance our depth within the organization's exciting for us.
Yeah, and we've talked here for the last couple of years, Jody, we talk about this every year. Youngest team in the league, second youngest team in the league. And that's all great. That means that you have good young players who are up and coming. But there does come a point, doesn't there, where you kind of need to just do what you're doing right now. Some of those guys, they need to mature a little bit in the American Hockey League. Yeah. And then you've got these players here that can not only fill those spots right now, but as those players come up, will be good examples for them.
It's always that fine line, right? Is the guy ready? Is he not ready? Do we put him in a spot where he can have success, or do we put him in a spot that he's going to have, to fail? The American Hockey League is a good league. I played in it. I coached in it. It's the second best league in the world. It's development. It's a process to get to this level. And just because you go down to the minors doesn't mean that that's where you're staying. And I talked to the group, our first meeting, that we will define everybody's role. And it goes to extent. If you got sent down, we've defined your role. That's what you're going to do, and you're going to go down there and play. That doesn't mean you can't change your role. You can just you work harder, you do whatever, and you can change your role to get back here. And the same thing with our group here. We defined everybody's role. Individually, I've spoken to every player. This is what we expect of you. This is your role. If you want to enhance that role, if you want more ice time, if you want to kill penalties, you want to play on the PP, well, then you have that ability to change it. You earn that right to do it. I'm giving you a role. Now you can earn more if that's what you want.
Let's talk about one of those young guys, though, that did make your team, and that is Mikhail Putia. He played in 7 of the 8 preseason games. I asked him about it about 5 games in. I said, looks like you're playing every day. He said, I'll never say no to playing a game, with a big smile. But he makes the squad. What did he do to stand out over some other guys for you?
He got better and better every single day. And it's funny because I'm watching him, and I asked my coaches, and I asked the coaches in Cleveland, I don't want them to tell me about one player. I don't want to hear what happened last year. I don't want to hear what happened prior. I wanted to make my own evaluation. I wanted to create my relationship with the players, watch the player, and then obviously we talk afterwards, and we start talking about personalities and what have you. But as far as, and I call him Tuna because I'm no way I'm saying some of these names, but Tuna is his nickname for us. But he's got better every single game, and what he is he's a pro. He's a young guy that he does all the little things right. If you watch his game, he's always on the right side of the puck. He's always defending in the proper areas. He's got a skill set that we believe he's going to be able to produce in the National Hockey League. So that's why he's made our hockey club.
We're joined here on the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, by head coach Dean Evison of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Our conversation continues after this on 97.1 The Fan.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
This football season, choose chill and go with the beer that's made for Ohio State game day. Whether you're at the shoe, the bar, or the basement, bring the Silver Bullets.
You can win tickets to the game against that team up north on November 30th.
Enter keyword kickoff at CoorsLight.com/college football.
No purchase necessary. Open only to residents of Ohio through 10/31/24. See official rules for details at CoorsLight.com/college football. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here for Truehold. Home values in the city, well, they're sky high. We know that. You have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's the right time, except for two things. High interest rates are going to burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Pretty smart, right? Truehold is going to make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others, and it's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, secure your retirement, and do whatever you want with it. It's your cash. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. Again, that's Truehold.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save more with digital coupons. California red, white, or black seedless grapes are just 99 cents a pound with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and fall is in the air, and that really gets me going for a delicious, savory breakfast like the Bob Evans new value menu with a whole lot of fresh breakfast options for just $5.99. I love the new griddle stacker with a sausage patty, American cheese, bacon, and a fried egg. But get this, 3 mini hot cakes. You're going to love it too. Here's the best part, the price. It's right in your wheelhouse. It's in my wheelhouse. It's starting at only $7.99. Stacked high and price low. Check them out at bobevans.com or on the new mobile app.
Welcome to Reverse Aesthetics. Our medical weight loss program includes popular medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide, both of which are supercharged by our body sculpting treatments. For only $2.99 per month, under the supervision of our board-certified medical doctor, Reverse Aesthetics can help you achieve your weight loss goals while tracking progress quarterly. We have plenty of inventory and can begin treatment within 48 hours of your consult. Schedule now at reverse-aesthetics.com or call us at 614-656-4000.
Can't get enough Blue Jackets conversation? Good news. It's Hockey O'Clock. It's the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott with Jody Shelley, and joining us tonight is Blue Jackets head coach Dean Evison.
I'm wondering, Dean, why did you get into coaching?
It's the second best opportunity to do what I love. And I can't be a pro golfer, so I was a pro hockey player. And the second best thing is to be behind the bench. I get to go on the ice. I get to put my skates on. I get to stick handle still. I get to skate, hang out with the guys. As we just talked about the locker room, and I don't know how to do anything else, Jody. I mean, I love it. It's a passion. It's not a job. The old thing, if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? And I haven't. I've worked one summer, as a grease monkey changing oil, but after that, it's been hockey, and it's such a wonderful, as we talked about, the people in the game are just incredible people. There's such excitement. The lows are really crappy, right? After a loss. But the highs override it. You get that next win, and it's like you forget about everything else. So, I think it's the greatest job in the world.
Do you still skate? Because we have alumni skates twice a month. We'd love to get you out there.
I haven't taken a stride in about I don't know how many years.
Maybe we'll get you out there.
I used to skate with a guy. Obviously, when you're assistant coach, you do the conditioning skates after practice, and I used to really enjoy it. I'm probably at the age now where I'm not at the age. Well, I am 60 years old, but I don't want to do anything that hurts my golf swing.
Oh, wow.
All right.
You're dialed in.
So I got to be very careful with that. Yeah. So there's no squats in the gym anymore either.
Hey, when you're coaching, I always wonder this. Do you ever coach against another coach? Is there someone that can you strategize like that against coaches and kind of run their show?
I think you can. I think you can match up. There's coaches in the league that obviously I'm very familiar with from playoff series or what have you, and you get to know their tendencies and how. But I think you have to think more team-oriented stuff. Obviously, I think you get caught up in. No different than a goaltender. If he gets caught up and I got to beat that goalie, well, no, your team has to beat the other team. So that's where I concentrate. But certainly you can get some tendencies from the other coaches that, as far as line changes and systematic stuff, that hopefully we can use to our advantage.
Do you spend much time with the goalies? What's your approach with them? I mean, we've had coaches that just leave them alone.
I don't want to spend any time with any goalies, including Nicky Backstrom, because he's out there too, right? I mean, you don't want to spend too much time with those guys because you never know what they're going to say or think. But no, I don't. I try to create a relationship with everybody. If it's a centerman, a winger, a defenseman. Or a goaltender, and I think it's important that you do that. We have people that run our PK, we have people that run our PP, our defensemen, D-zone coverage, the goalies, obviously with Nicky, but they have to be as dialed in, team-first mentality as the rest of the guys. Everybody doesn't get treated the same. There's people that get treated differently, but everybody gets treated fairly, is what I've always stated, and goaltenders are no different. But, yeah, I've been able to create relationships with both our guys. I love both their personalities. Elvis, obviously, is a character that's had a phenomenal camp, and looking forward to both of them helping us win games.
Is that the most important thing for you right now as a coach, is to establish relationships with all your players?
Yeah. Yeah, I truly believe that. I think that and create the work ethic that we're going to play with each and every night. That there's no, it's non-negotiable how we work and how we compete. And you know what, we're not going to win every hockey game, but we want to give ourselves an opportunity every night to win that hockey game because of our work. Some nights we're not going to have it. Skill set wise, some nights we're going to make more mistakes in the defensive zone or turn the puck over a few times in the neutral zone, which happens. That's part of the game. But one thing that teams will know and people will see is that our team will compete and work their butts off each and every night.
You know what? I noticed in practice that some of the details, it seems like you've established. I noticed little things like there's a drill where they have to go down and make sure they're inside the blue line and touch the top of the circles, where it's so easy to cheat on. And those things are, as a player, it's nice to have those boundaries. And that's a big part of what you're doing, too, obviously, is making sure those details are there in practice. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of practice time.
Yeah.
But to establish that right away. And when you look at this group and moving forward with them, They've had 3 different coaches now in 3 years. That's 3 different systems. Did you take that into mind when you established your systems, or are you just trying to keep it simple or explain it in a simple fashion?
Yeah, tried to. First, the details part. As you know, players want that, right? They want that structure. They want that details. And it's funny, like, you're watching the practice. If they don't, if I say for a drill, guys, your skates have to touch the tops of the circles, there's a reason, right? We want the D to gap up. So if you cut it short, now our D aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and everything gets messed up. So if I say touch your skates to the tops of the circles, and you don't, and we blow it down, and they go over and back and do a wally, and eventually they're screaming at each other. They're yelling, touch the skates, but they're making each other accountable because of it. So I think if you let them off in those little details, then it starts to run away on you a little bit. So they want that structure, they want that discipline, for sure. As far as systematically, we taught it the exact same way. I think everybody learns, and you can teach different ways, right? They're visual, or they're verbal, or what have you, or you just have to go physically go do it. So we try to touch all those areas with the video, with talking to them. If a player doesn't get it, ask questions, open the door, come in. And our systems, sure, we've made some mistakes throughout the training camp. But I've always said to the guys, and I've said it here, is that if you're going to make a mistake, make an aggressive mistake. Don't make a passive one by backing up. It's easier to pull the reins back on a player and or a team than continually try to push them forward. So we're playing an aggressive game right now. There might be some areas that we're going to have to pull back a little bit, but right now we like the way that we're going about our business.
Talking with Dean Evison, Blue Jackets head coach. As a player, if you get traded from one team to another, or if a team doesn't re-sign you and you go to another, you always look forward to playing that original team the very next time. You're in a situation where Minnesota let you go, and I'm sure that you looked at the schedule to see when you were playing Minnesota, and lo and behold, there it is on the very first game of the year.
He might have looked before he took the job.
And not only, and it's actually double for you because you get to do it in Minnesota. So you can wipe all of that off the slate right away in game one. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, I love how everybody always says they sugarcoats it. Yeah, they let you go. No, they freaking fired me. Right?
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your butt got fired.
Yeah, I got fired. I got
Okay.
fired. And you know what? If you didn't expect that going into it with this business, which I've been in for a while now, then you shouldn't be in it. Am I excited? Yeah, 100%. And I've said this before. Everybody's like, well, is it just another game? Of course it's not another freaking game. I mean, we're going to the team that fired me, and we're playing the first game. Sure, yeah, it's important. But is it more important than game 14 to win? No. You're trying to win every game that you go into. You're trying to win. But is there going to be extra emotions? Is there going to be a lot of different? The excitement level that I'm going to have personally, yeah, of course there is. I mean, do I want to win? Yeah, bloody right I do. I mean, for sure. But I want our hockey club to win, not me winning against the Minnesota Wild. I want the Columbus Blue Jackets to beat the Minnesota Wild.
Sounds like team dinner on the board for the boys, maybe for this one.
Yeah, well, as you know, I don't know how many teams you play
on. 4.
4, yeah. So I played on 5, so I've coached a couple more besides that. So I'm not putting money up on any board. I'm going to tell you that. Yeah, no, not a chance. Not a chance. That's a player thing.
There's a separation.
Yeah, there's a separation. Yeah, and now I'm not giving these spoiled, rotten little guys any money. They've got enough.
$100. You put $100 on the board.
Yeah.
It will still be special for you, though, to go back there, right?
It will be special. I've obviously was there for a long time, not a long, I don't know, 6-7 years, whatever it was. So I've created relationships not only around the Minnesota Wild organization, but obviously outside of that. Got a lot of friends in the area. So my wife and my mother are actually going to fly in there and then come back here for our home opener. So that's exciting, and it'll be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Sit on your wallet. Enjoy the game. And best of luck to you.
Yeah, I won't be any higher if I sit on my wallet. If I sit on Joey's wallet, I'd be like,
You need a ladder to come down.
I probably do.
All right,
probably.
Dean.
Thanks, guys. Really
Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, cheers.
That is Blue Jackets head coach Dean Evison joining us tonight here on the Inside Edge. The Blue Jackets Foundation 50-50 raffle presented by Kemba is holding a rolling jackpot for the home opener, benefiting the John and Matthew Gaudreau Foundation. The jackpot's already at $13,021. It'll continue to roll until the end of the second intermission on October the 15th. For rules or to purchase your raffle tickets, go to BlueJackets5050.com. We'll wrap up this week's edition of the Inside Edge after this on 97.1 The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. When it comes to hard work, whether on the field or the farm, I need something that's as tough and reliable as I am. That's why I trust Kubota diesel tractors from Green & Sons. Kubota's diesel tractor motors are high-powered, reliable, and don't stop running, just how I like to play. So when you're serious about getting the job done, you need the Kubota equipment you can trust from Green & Sons. Check them out at greenandsons.com or stop by one of their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville.
Do you need a driveway, garage floor, or patio? Call my guys at Maxima Concrete. They are Central Ohio's most trusted concrete company with 250 five-star ratings on Google. Maxima does over 600 projects a year, so no project is too big or complex. There is still time to get your work in this season, or if you're planning for next year, saving your spot is free because they never take deposits. Mention this ad to get $250 off your project. Schedule an estimate today by visiting MaximaConcrete.com.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
When you have a cracked windshield, who can you trust? Choose the auto glass experts at Safelite. We make it so easy, you can schedule at safelight.com. With our state-of-the-art technology, we can replace your windshield and recalibrate your car's advanced safety system to get you back on the road safely. Schedule now at safelight.com. Go ahead, play that jingle.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
This truck season, think about all the things you can do in a Chevy truck. You'll be able to, or you can even just, with impressive towing, incredible bed and tailgate functionality, and multiple powertrains, Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done. When you want to do it all, Chevy's got you. At your Central Ohio Chevy dealers.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank. It was great to talk with Dean Evison. I mean, this guy is a ball of energy. But, Jody, what I like the most about Dean is he walks into a room and he kind of just takes over the room. I mean, you know who's in charge with this guy, but it's not like he's not like a bully take over the room. He's a very fair guy. And just seems to be fun to be around.
Yeah, he walked into the studio and just, let's go. Let's get this started. So I like it. He's got he's a good decision maker, team first guy. He's passionate, and I love what he talked about his coaching staff, how they're going to be together. It's important for them to be a tight-knit group. I think you're going to get the best out of these coaches when you do that, and it's infectious throughout the organization.
In a couple minutes we have left, let's talk about the Metropolitan Division. The Blue Jackets want to get out of the basement of this division where they've been the last couple of years. Not the easiest thing to do, but again, you know, when you look at it from the outset, this is almost to me like last year. What are the Pittsburgh Penguins? Did they improve over the offseason? Did Kyle Dubas make them better? The Washington Capitals squeaked into the playoffs last year. Can they do that again with the group that they have? I mean, I still think there's the Flyers. They were in the playoffs until, the final 2 weeks of the regular season. You know, what teams are on the upswing? Which ones might be headed downward?
Oh, I think the Devils and the Rangers are the top of the Metropolitan Division, and then there's a group of 4 teams that are in that middle group. And it's the 2 you talked about, Pittsburgh and Washington. Carolina's in there. And we'll throw Philly in there, and then it's got you're with Columbus is going to be scratching and clawing for everything they want to do.
And you didn't even mention the Islanders, who also got into the
Islanders are in that group too. So I mean, I would put the Islanders and the Capitals and the Penguins are in their own group because you're exactly what you said. You don't know. But the Islanders and the Canes are fighting for that 3rd spot and 4th spot. And then I don't think you can discredit a team that has Ovechkin, that squeaked in last year, and Crosby. That's why I put those 4 teams in the same group. So we'll see what happens. It's and then Philly, I don't know what they're going to be. You know, who knows what they're going to be. They surprised everyone last year. They're hard to play against. I think they're going to be right there as well. It's going to be tight, but I still think the top is New York and New Jersey. And then you look at the Atlantic, they're strong. What's Tampa going to be? Tampa's without Stamkos. They have Gensel now. They've got some more speed. They're forward heavy. They lost Sergachev, but we know the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be better. The Florida Panthers are going to be pretty good. So it's going to be fascinating to watch, but the East is going to be tight. I would not be surprised if there's 5 teams out of the Atlantic. You know, last year was 4-4. It could be 5 this year.
The Blue Jackets open the regular season tomorrow night here in Minnesota when they take on the Wild. That game gets underway at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And so we've got pregame coverage both on Bally Sports with Jody and on the Blue Jackets radio network with me starting at 7:30. Then on to Colorado for a game on Saturday. Back at home for the home opener at Nationwide Arena on Tuesday, October the 15th. Big week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. 3 games at home as soon as we get back from this road trip. So make sure that you join us at Nationwide Arena. Jody, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Enjoy tomorrow.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, that is Jody Shelley. I'm Bob McElligott. Thanks to Dean Evison for joining us tonight. That'll do it for the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan.
This football season, choose chill and go with the beer that's made for Ohio State game day. Whether you're at the shoe, the bar, or the basement, bring the Silver Bullets. You can win tickets to the game against that team up north on November 30th. Enter keyword kickoff at CoorsLight.com/college football. No purchase necessary. Open only to residents of Ohio through 10/31/24. See official rules for details at CoorsLight.com/college football. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck. Now through November 4th, get 1.9 APR financing or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds better trucks than Toyota. Let's go places.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Concerned about your investment's rate of return? Let us show you exactly how your portfolio is performing. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why. With over 350 five-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap.